For high school students, there's no rest for the weary this weekend as many take the SATs in hopes of improving chances of getting into the college of their choice. But this year, there's a twist. The College Board is rolling out a radically redesigned SAT on Saturday, the first change since 2005. Scoring will revert back to a 200 to 800 range for the written and math sections. Also, no penalty for wrong answers, and the essay is now optional, just like the rival ACT exam. So how should high school students now prepare? Eric Greenberg, president of Greenberg Educational Group, a college advisory and test prep company, joins us now to discuss. Welcome, Eric. It's so great to have you here.
Nice to be with you, Tanya.
So do you anticipate these changes to the SAT will disrupt the college application process?
Well, I don't think they'll disrupt the college application process. There are millions of students out there right now who are deciding which test they should take. So it's not going to disrupt the timetable, but it's going to cause a lot of angst in the living rooms and kitchens of families in deciding which test is better for them to take.
So more colleges are giving students the option now to choose between the SAT or the ACT.
Well, virtually every college in the United States will accept either one.
Okay.
And it was the case years ago that it was more regional, based upon geography. But in today's climate, virtually every college will accept either one. So it's really score-driven.
Even the Ivies?
Even the Ivies.
So,
and it's really score-driven as opposed to which test.
Very interesting. So does that mean the SAT the College Board was feeling pressure to revamp their test because of this competitive spirit now?
Well, one of the big picture items is that the ACT was gaining a lot of market share. So a lot of people in the industry feel that the reason why College Board shifted to make the test look more like the ACT is kind of a response to them losing some of the market share.
Okay, so let's go through some of these changes. Now the essay is optional. What's the point then of even doing it? Do you get extra points for doing it?
It's not really that you get extra points. It's really a separate scoring system. But many of the better colleges know that that's the only sample of writing that the student has written by him or herself. So in many ways, it's kind of an objective viewpoint or vantage point to see how a student's write. So a better college will tend to want to see it.
So give us some examples of some of the other changes as they would occur in a sample question, for
Right. Well, two of the things that are really most extremely different from their prior version were that the new form of the SAT has done away with some of that esoteric vocabulary that no one really liked to study, really no one liked to learn. The other major change that has occurred is the math is becoming much more pragmatic and much more practical. So there are a lot more questions that deal with profit and loss, more questions that deal with interest rate, currency conversion, and also a very big change which will affect millions of students is that a calculator is not able to be used on all of the math, only on some of the math.
Okay, great. So are you recommending then changes to the ways the students that come to you are preparing for the SAT?
Well, the whole methodology of how the SAT has to be prepared for is changing as of now because the test has changed radically. The ACT is staying essentially the same, but we have revamped over the past couple of years since College Board made its announcement that they were changing the test. We've revamped it to reflect the new version that's starting this week.
So what factors do you tell a student to consider when trying to decide whether they should take the SAT or the ACT?
It's a great question. On a practical level, the first thing they should do is take a practice test in each. So they should take a practice SAT, practice ACT, and then determine which score is better. On kind of a more school-based level, the ACT is a little bit more math and science related, whereas the SAT is a little bit more verbal related.
So you should play to your strengths, is what you're saying.
You should play to your strengths, but back it up with the documentation of kind of taking the practice test so you really know which test is better for you.
Right, so definitely don't go in cold. Either way, you need to take some practice tests.
That's right, but the relieving factor for students who are taking it tomorrow or over the weekend is that you can take the test multiple times.
Right.
And colleges do not typically look down upon a student taking it multiple times, so don't overstress it. Get a good night's sleep, but don't overstress it.
Okay, so finally, last question. We keep hearing how the colleges are either going to get rid of the testing or they're not taking it as seriously, but bottom line is it's still pretty important as of this moment.
But bottom line, it's here to stay.
Yeah.
And bottom line, there's no great news that they're doing away with it.
Yeah.
There are an increasing number of colleges that are doing away with it, but most colleges are keeping it. And the trend is generally that smaller colleges are the ones, if they're to do away with it, are doing away with it because they have more time to look at each application. Larger colleges, University of California, SUNY system, et cetera, they don't necessarily have the time to look at all the other factors as carefully. They're overwhelmed, and they have to make that choice during a finite period of time.
Thank you, Eric Greenberg, very much for that.